One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours.
The journey of Solomon Northup, the protagonist in the 2013 blockbuster film 12 Years a Slave, is one of many sorrows and much angst.
Oh, glory, glory, oh, glory. Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Every day women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't pacific enough. One son died, the spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we
Feelings resonated with audiences everywhere, possibly because the deep anxiety, dread, fear, and trepidation in relation to our status and our roles within humanity can be paralyzing and jolting to the core. As a spiritual culture in general, the inhumane treatment at the hand of men and women claiming to be Christians drives a wedge between hopeful yearning for deliverance and bitterness toward the living God whom the Christians serve. The broken songs, spoken of by Josh Larsen in his book Movies or Prayers, drive home the point that many, if not most, enslaved Africans in early America cried out to God for deliverance in the midst of unjust treatment and despair. My interest in the healing possibilities of film for both African Americans, blacks, whites, and the world in general has grown over the years as I've watched films such as Roots, The Diary of Miss Jane Pittman, Glory, and finally 12 Years a Slave. As I learned more about the time in my own history that is rarely examined or expounded upon in public educational institutions, I realized and identified with the plight and post-traumatic slavery condition of many African Americans until even this time in history. I believe these stories are important to our own understanding and our own healing from this inhumane treatment, stripping of dignity in place, and the depravity of some men and women that is demonstrated and revealed in the film 12 Years a Slave. I can imagine that these men and women must have seemed to represent Satan himself in the lives of these enslaved African men and women. When I watch these and other films that examine the culture and realities of slavery, I am pressed to try and understand the evil. Any God-fearing, rational person, regardless of their background, must ask how these involved in the slave trade were able to justify their behavior. Conversely, the Africans must have suffered from the deepest forms of hopelessness and despair. These former kings and queens, men and women, surely must have cried out to their God in heaven, prayers of both lamentation and anger. How long, oh God, how long? In Larsen's book, he speaks to the idea of brokenness and sacrifice that asks God this very question. In this case, as in this film, why a trusting soul must suffer being persecuted in such a way. Solomon, the protagonist of this film, never gave up his dream and desire to return home to his family. Although anger was necessary as a part of survival, healing, and adjusting, in the end, he held to the belief that he would be delivered. And in the end, our God did not disappoint.